welcome to Of Swords and Soulmates, a podcast where we read, watch, and discuss romantasy and romance-adjacent stories. I'm one of your hosts, Mari, and with me I have Kelly.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly. We also have Ashley.
Hey guys, it's Ashley. We also have Jonathan.
What's good, everybody? It's JP.
Yay! We are all here and we're doing a new thing today. So we're trying something new, but before we get into any discussions of exactly describing what all we're doing, we're going to go into the news, get that out of the way. As always, we'll do that first. So first thing is from Sarah Beth Durst, who wrote the Spell Shop series, or I don't even know if it's called the Spell Shop series. Is it called Spell Shop?
Yeah, I think it's because she says like Spell Shop 1, 2, 3 kind of thing.
Okay, so the Spell Shop series, she released, mind you, book 3 is not yet out. It's coming out this year. But she announced book 4 is going to be coming out January 19th, 2027. So less than a year between book 3 and book 4. And it's going to be called The Magical Cheese Emporium, which I love. And she doesn't have a cover reveal or anything like that yet. It's not available for pre-order yet that I could find anywhere. But she said when she was describing it, she said, it's about finding home, starting over, finding purpose, finding love, finding family, and unicorn cheese.
Unicorn cheese?
Unicorn cheese.
You think it's going to be cheese made from unicorns?
I mean, I assume that means that someone has milked a unicorn. How do you make cheese? From milk?
Can you milk a unicorn?
I don't know.
Sounds like it.
Unicorns got mammary glands. Or it could be cheese that unicorns eat.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Would you try unicorn cheese?
Would you eat cheese made from unicorn mammary secretions?
Me?
Yeah.
I like goat cheese, so yeah, why not?
Okay.
Maybe it has magical properties.
Would you eat unicorn cheese?
Who, me?
Yeah, you asked us. Would you eat unicorn cheese?
I would have to see a unicorn. Like, I want to see where it's coming from. You know what I mean? Like, I know what a cow looks like, and I'm like, oh, cow, I'd like to eat you. But then, like, unicorn, I was looking at unicorn and be like, ooh, I don't know if I'd like to eat you. I also have a thought that I think unicorns are, like, well, not the prerequisite, but like the precursor to the term dickhead.
Yeah, okay.
Phallic.
I mean, how do you feel about goats and goat cheese?
We had goat cheese when I was a kid. As an adult, I don't. Like, if you're like, hey, here's of all the cheeses in all the worlds, you walk right in them. No, not goat.
Okay.
I don't know. I'd give it a try for those magical properties.
Yeah. I think it may depend on what the unicorn is like in that world, because like you think of like this gentle, almost goat-like, well, I guess goats aren't gentle, but almost like a small horse-like creature, like maybe. But like I'm about to start reading the 3rd book in S.E. Wendell's Halfling series, and it's called The Failing? I think it's called The Failing. And it's a fae, and riding his unicorn. And this unicorn is like a beast of like a big black war horse looking thing with a horn. And I'm like, that is a scary unicorn. I don't know about that unicorn cheese from something like that. So
yeah, isn't there a movie with an Ant-Man with you where he like eats and sells unicorns or something like that?
Eats and sells?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That got weird.
Who's the guy who's Ant-Man?
Paul Rudd?
Thank you. I'm going to Google the Paul Rudds here. Let me bing it.
But yeah, I'm excited about this book. I mean, Sarah Beth Durst wrote it, so I'll probably read it. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see a cheese emporium situation.
Death of a unicorn.
Oh, is that the one that's got Jenny Ortega in it too?
I think so.
I didn't watch it, but I remember the trailer.
I think it has Wednesday. Is that the Wednesday person?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She's the daughter. Is that what it is? And
I had not seen anything about this movie, and I'm looking at the movie poster, and this is not a unicorn. This is an evil unicorn. This is like Donkey from Shrek with dragon teeth unicorn.
That could just be Donkey's offspring. Didn't he have dragon
donkey
babies?
What?
You didn't know?
No, like I didn't. I forgot about the connection. Dang.
Okay. Second bit of news. Gerald Brom is doing a special edition version of Slewfoot, which is his witch book, basically. It's like witch or witchcraft in like puritanical times. I think it's his most like best-selling book. I think it's his most popular book. It's a really pretty version. It's going to be released September 2027, September 1st, 2027. It's only like $34 and it's got like the sprayed printed edges. Other than that, from what I could tell, the cover and then the art that he does on the inside is the same.
Interesting. Have you read this book?
Multiple times.
Okay. All right. Does she have hoofs?
She does in that picture.
Oh, I get it. That's because Slewfoot.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Would you eat her cheese?
No.
Just checking.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. I tried to bring it. I try to keep everything,
full circle.
Yeah, full circle. That's how we roll.
Yeah. If anyone likes like witchcrafty books, that's a good one. And if anyone likes like the whole, I don't know what the genre is, but like a puritanical setting, but like fight back against the Puritans, against, the patriarchy and everything else. It's that kind of a vibe.
Is it like Salem-y?
Yeah, I mean, it's that vibe. It doesn't take place in Salem, but it definitely has that witch hunt kind of vibes. It's like somewhere between like a witch hunt kind of thing, maybe Scarlet Letter kind of thing. It's got magic in it though. It's good. Like I said, I've read it multiple times. Krampus is still my favorite Gerald Brom book, but Slewfoot is second favorite for sure. Very strong second favorite.
Okay.
So, it's a good read. It's a good audio. If you're going to do the audio, like look up the pictures or get the physical book as well, because he's also a very talented artist and he does all the artwork for his books. And so like there's the cover, that painting on the cover he did, but like the stuff on the inside is also just as good. Really high quality. I think I'm the only one who's read any of his stuff.
Yeah, I don't think I've read it.
Okay. Kelly, you haven't read any of the Brom stuff I have, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I usually not every year, but I'll usually most year or maybe every other year I'll read Slewfoot maybe in like October, November, and I always read Krampus in like December. So, all right, next bit of news. So Hannah Schneider, producer of Why Women Kill, is set as the showrunner and the writer for the Lights Out TV show coming to Netflix, which I don't know if we've talked about this TV show. Lights Out is a dark romance, like a masked romance situation, written by Nevessa Allen. It is the kind of dark romance I like where, I guess it's people get killed and it's a mass killer situation. But it's like only the bad guys die and there's a lot of comedy in it. It's got kind of that unrealistic.
So it's dark, but it's funny.
It's not dark.
what you're saying.
It's not dark.
Are these the good looking books? The pink and the blue?
Yeah. And the green.
Do I not? Why haven't I read these?
These are great audiobooks, by the way. These are great to listen to.
So it's not fantasy though, to be clear. It is dark romance.
It's dark romance
though.
Yeah.
But why haven't I read it, actually?
Because you don't typically read outside of fantasy romance.
No, I definitely do, but I don't understand why I haven't read these.
Because you don't typically.
Well, you can correct it, Jonathan. If you want to read it, I would say it's a good
maybe
read.
we could read it together.
I don't want to read it together.
Yeah, we like tandem read it. We sit on the couch on Saturday.
That sounds creepy.
We have this like local bookshop situation, but it's not really a shop. It's more like a warehouse. They're not going to kidnap us because we've been there twice and it hasn't happened yet. But they do.
Count it out. We'll keep trying.
I
definitely walk slowly while I'm there. Give them an opportunity.
And so in the warehouse in the middle of nowhere, Fort Pierce, down here in Florida, they have a collection, like literally, like I think like 99% of what they sell are signed books. Oh. And yeah, it's super cool. We go up there every time we find out. They host it like once a month. It is mostly like online only shopping, but they rent out this warehouse or whatever. So it's really cool. And there is a Nevessa Allen book there, but I think it's like book 3. And I don't know that if they have book 1 or 2. And that's the only reason I haven't purchased from them. But
wasn't she just there?
Nevessa Allen?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I think she was on tour recently.
Perhaps.
Yeah. I haven't read
she
this.
may or
No,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I was going to say, because there's a lot of like indie book day, advertisements going out, which is on April 25th. Today, as we record, it's only the 16th. And I think we have plans on the 25th, but again, it's indie book day. So like go shop, your independent books. Yeah. And so a lot of places, and I think we're starting to see more independent bookstores pop up in our area for the first time. And Jonathan was laughing recently because they're like joining ranks and having like an indie book day, like combined experience. And it's going to have like authors and stuff. So maybe that's where we saw her name, was where I was getting with that, but I'm not 100% sure because I think we have plans that day. So I wasn't paying attention else.
No, I thought I saw her like recently.
It's not impossible. I don't know if she's local, but for whatever reason, like I said, that bookstore has some of her books, which seemed interesting because she's one of the bigger romance authors currently.
I could have been wrong.
I think book 3 is coming out or has recently
about.
come out in that series. So she might be doing a push for that. Maybe that's why you're seeing her name in places.
Perhaps.
Game On?
Yeah.
Game, yeah, that's what they're saying enemies to lovers, morally gray, MCs, fake dating, age gap, revenge, forced proximity, pre-orders, signed pre-orders.
I want to read that series very desperately, as well as Butcher and Blackbird.
Oh, they're
which I think are very similar
good.
vibes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's on my nightstand.
They definitely had both of those books in the same ad.
Yeah.
And I would highly, highly, highly recommend audiobooks for both of those. They're just so well done audiobooks. Like, it's just a whole experience. Like, they both have funny or interesting premises, even though it's in like, okay, yeah, there's serial killer situation, but it's like, and I didn't watch this show, so I may get the details wrong, but like, it's like the Dexter thing, like where you're a serial killer, but you're a serial killer who like kills the bad guys. You killed the serial killer. So it's like, are you a Robin Hood of a serial killer situation?
I think the narrators are quite acclaimed too for these two series. The audiobook narrators. I feel like I see a lot of like social media, TikTok, like, oh my God, these voices and whatnot. Yeah. They're supposed to be very well done, I heard.
Yeah, I would agree that they both are. And they both have like really interesting elements of comedy in them. So it's not like they don't take themselves too seriously. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene in Lights Out, which doesn't reveal anything. And it's a lot of people have talked about how they can't wait to see this on the TV show. One of the main characters wears a mask, obviously. And there's a point where they fall asleep with the mask on and don't realize it. So they wake up and the mask had like shifted in their sleep. And they're like, oh my God, I'm blind.
So very unserious is what you're
saying.
Very
unserious.
I love it.
Very goofy. Like, okay, serious stuff happens, I guess, but it's also like with this very like practical, like funny, goofy way of dealing with stuff too. You know? Yeah. I laughed out loud multiple times in that. And I was like, okay, based off of those two, I thought maybe I liked more dark romance and masked people, whatever. But like, I haven't found anything else that is the same vibe as those two. So if anyone has any recommendations, please
let your girls know.
Yeah. Okay. Next is that Luma Crate is doing a special edition of The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy, which is the sequel to The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. It's the sequel, and it's also the conclusion of the duology. It's a very pretty version. It's like got it's like white, and it's got
it looks vascular.
Yeah, on the edges, like it's got like veins and arteries and stuff. Like that was it the Human Anatomies show? No, what is that series? Whatever, the traveling exhibit. So what I'm looking for, exhibit, where it has like the human body like parsed out into its different like components, and you have the veins and things all spread out. That it looks like that on the edges. It's really pretty looking. It's going to be available to purchase starting May 14th, and it's $39 plus shipping.
Hot dog.
I will definitely be reading it because I enjoyed the first one. I'm not going to get this special edition because it's very white and bright, and even though it's pretty, it just doesn't really go. Yeah, it doesn't really go with my vibe. It will stand out. I mean, unless I read it and end up loving it and feel like this particular version is the best thing ever. Most likely, if I do end up loving it as much as I like the first one, I'll probably just buy the standard version. So I did with the first one because I like the imagery on the standard version. But this version is very pretty. If you're thinking about it, I would definitely look it up and see if that's something that you would like to add to your collection. Next thing I have is the CM Nascosta was announced as an attending author at RomantasyCon in Orlando this year.
That's our friend.
That is.
Well,
we don't know her.
Yeah.
But yeah, author of Morning Glory Milking Farm and was it Sweet Berries and all Cambridge Creek stuff, that whole world. And she's written a bunch of other stuff too, but that's definitely her big thing that she's known for. I'm looking forward to meeting her. I'm looking forward to maybe getting more of her stuff because I was trying to think, okay, which one of her books am I going to take to get signed? I actually only own one of her books in physical books. It's her Krampus book, her Christmas book, which is really pretty, but it's a very just small little book. So I'll probably bring that. And then I need to decide if I'm going to buy like a special edition of Morning Glory Milking Farm, because if anyone who's going to any book convention, you want to get on Beventi and check if your convention and those authors are on there, because all their special order pre-order stuff that they will have available at the events are there, including like the date you have to pre-order by if you want it. So you can look and see what's coming, what they're planning on bringing, and you can pre-order it so that pick it up at the event. Like RomantasyCon has this, Monster Erotica Book Con has this, Villains and Vixens, like pretty much all the book conventions have that. So I was looking through what she was going to have she actually doesn't have it up that she's going to be at RomantasyCon yet. I understand it's all new, but I was looking at what she was bringing to other events that are coming up, and she's got special edition version of Morning Glory Milking Farm and Sweet Berries. I think all of those Cambridge Creek books, and also like a new printing or a new version of, so Morning Glory Milking Farm is one story, and then there's like another story that's told from his perspective.
Oh.
I'm trying to remember what I think it's called Blue Bell? Blue Ribbon, I think it's called. And it's cute. If you like the first one, I would read that one because you get his perspective on it. But she's got a book compilation, I guess. I don't know what to call it, coming out that you will be able to special order that I think is called Milked. And it's basically the two versions, like back to back, like not back to back, like interspersed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interspersed, like,
yes,
yeah, okay.
Her version of events, his version of events. Yeah, dual perspective. Thank you. Big words.
Multisyllabic. So I think honestly we're going to end up reading the Krampus story that she wrote. Mostly
I liked it a lot.
We stumbled on a signed copy of it, and now that we know you have that, we no longer have to give it to you. So I'm going to have to read that one now. Thanks, Mari.
I know that Sarah loves Krampus stuff too, and she loves Nascosta. She may or may not have that if you're looking for someone to pass that on to, FYI.
Ooh, okay.
I think we said that out loud too when we bought it.
Like she's our backup plan.
Yes. So Morning Glory Milk Farm is really great, but there's also the second one in that series. It's called Sweet Berries, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a like human. It's shorter. It's a human and a Mothman, but the Mothman is very like, he's a scientist. He's very introvert, almost like coded on the spectrum. And so it's a really sweet little relationship between the two of them that I thought was really well done. Like, so I may end up getting that. We'll see. I haven't decided what all I may be buying for RomantasyCon, but I'm trying to pre-shop through Beventi so I don't do as many impulse purchases at the event because I'm bad about that.
I like to let Romantasy BookCon tell me what I need.
It's going to tell you need all the things.
Yeah, I know. We did a lot of damage last year.
Yeah. Eesh. Next thing is Shield of Sparrows Book 3 was announced. It's by Devney Perry. It is going to be released March 9th, 2027, and it's the conclusion of the series. So Book 2 just came out. I have it, and I haven't read it yet because I'm focusing on reading for the upcoming book event I'm going to. I'm trying to I have a book challenge to read one book by each of the authors that it's going to be at Monster Erotica Book Con, and I'm like 80% through with the challenge now. So
dang,
that is my goal. Until it is done, that is my goal. But once that's done, I will be reading the second Shield of Sparrows book. You read the first one, right?
I did. And I actually I read it recently, maybe in like December, and I'm glad I waited. And I was surprised, because I don't think I was as into it in the first, couple chapters or third of the book or whatever, but I was really hooked by the end of it. So mine did arrive on release day, and it's been sitting on my coffee table, just graciously waiting for me to make time for it. So yeah, I am, and it's so pretty.
It is.
I think that's one thing about this series is I think I bought the first one just because it was pretty. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. The first one was fun, and I guess the later we read the second one, the less time we have to wait for the third one.
Girl math.
Yeah, it worked out, right? Jonathan, Kelly, neither of you guys have read Shield of Sparrows, right?
No.
Okay. All right, last bit of news I have is Jacqueline Hyde and Cassie Keegan had to cancel their set appearances for Monster Regatta Book Con, both because of health issues. Jacqueline Hyde is one that we're going to be reading later this year. You guys have heard me talk about her. I like her series. It's got like these...
It's the punny one, right?
Yeah, the punny, like your coffin or mine,
right.
How you doing, all that stuff. So she's working, I believe, still on the fourth one, the Loch Ness Monster one or whatever. But yeah, so they won't be there, which is fine. I won't get to see them, but it's fine. But we'll get to read their stuff later. So I hope you guys get better. Any other news anybody has?
I don't think so. I don't have any news. Do you, Kelly?
No.
All right. So then moving on to what we're doing. So we basically are doing a choose your own adventure situation. And I think this is Kelly's idea. So it's basically we picked a topic, which our topic for this particular one was Grumpy Sunshine. And we each read a book that had a Grumpy Sunshine situation in it. And we're going to talk about it. But I figured before we do that, just general overview. We're not doing a full-on trope episode, whatever, but just what a Grumpy Sunshine is. And it's basically a pairing where one of the members in the relationship or partnership or whatever is a grumpy type, whether that's brooding, whether that's, actual grumpy, whatever. That's just a stoic type. And then the other person in the relationship is a sunshine, maybe a, perky, talker, caretakery kind of person. And then mashing up those usually leads to fun interactions and fun times. Anybody else have a different description or anything for Grumpy Sunshine?
Like Luke Danes and Lorelai Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. You crushed it there.
I tried. 157 episodes I watched.
Oh,
I think there's different spins on it too. So the black cat and the golden retriever.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one. It's like the cinnamon roll, but I think I've only seen cinnamon roll on its own. I don't think it was paired with anything.
Yeah.
Coffee ground.
That's fair.
I think also almost like a precursor or a relative of Grumpy Sunshine is the comedy trope or comedy style where you have a straight man and a funny man kind of situation.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think that kind of works too, where you have a person who's not the jokester, they're just the one that the jokes bounce off of, but they're, that relationship or that dynamic is necessary to get the humor across to the audience. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to roll the dice and decide who's going to go first and talk about their books. So we didn't all read the same book. We each read individual books. And so I'm just doing this alphabetically. Ash, you're number 1.
Me.
Jonathan, you're number 2. Kelly, you're number 3. And I'm number 4. And I'm going to roll a dice. A pointy little D&D dice.
How many sides are on this dice?
How many of us are there?
There's a 4-sided, what do you call that? Is it like a quadruple?
The little pyramid dice is all I call it. It's a pyramid dice.
Oh yeah, that makes that crack.
Pointy.
Yeah.
It's very pointy. Don't hurt yourself.
Okay, so number 4 is what came up. Of course, it would be what came up. Damn it. So that's me. Okay, so I had a book in mind when we came up with this. I had a book I was wanting to read. And so I picked it to read. But in the meanwhile, because, I can't just read one book at a time. So in the interim, I also read another book that fits this criteria very well. So I'm going to start with the one that I had in mind. and that is a romantasy book. It's called This Damsel is Not in Distress.
Ooh.
By T. Harlow. That's Teeharlowe. I've read one book by her before this, and it was fine. It was like Potions and Prejudice. It was like a magic Pride and Prejudice type situation. This book, however, had all the things for like cozy fantasy, romantasy. Like if there was one word I would have to like say about this book is it was charming. Like it was just so good. So it's book 1 in the Brothers of Fairwick Isle series. So it's going to be a series and they're all brothers. And this one is basically has sentient buildings. So like all the buildings are sentient. So there's a castle, there's a tower, there's a cabin, like they're all sentient. It has a talking bookworm. It has a world with magic in it. So you have the main character, female main character is the Sunshine character. She's bookish. She had fled her old kingdom where she used to live because war came to that land. And she hides out in this tower just reading with her little bookworm friend. Literal bookworm that talks. And the very first chapter starts with the main character and his brother tearing down her walls of their tower.
Aww.
Because so the main male character is Rage Wolfgang is his name, and his brother. His brother's the prince, and the prince got drunk and someone told him a prophecy that he was going to find his princess in the tower. So he went off to do this, and so Wolf is like taking care of his flighty brother and making sure he doesn't get into trouble. He's safe and he's being the bodyguard. And so Wolf is the grumpy, stoic, silent bodyguard type. And basically they go off to the prince's kingdom where the castle has to accept her in like 6 weeks time. The whole thing takes place in like 6 weeks time. And the way that, you're accepted into the town and into the castle is a key tattoo appears on you. And so nobody knows how to get accepted. And so she's just doing everything she can. And it's basically her trying to get over her anxiety, but also being this chatterbox and being really happy to have people around. And Wolf being like, oh my God, will you just shut up? In his head. Like he doesn't tell her this, but in his head. But he also ends up trying to keep her safe and trying to keep everybody safe. And then she ends up making him open up. They fall in love, of course. Like it's a romantasy book. You're going to have happy ever after. Like I can't tell you a whole lot of the details because it's just going to ruin the book. But you have the whole family involved in it. You have a lot of side characters. You have parts of it that felt kind of like Princess Bride and parts of it that felt kind of like Swordheart, like T. Kingfisher, that I very much like. And the next book is coming out very soon, and it's basically the nerdy younger brother, because the castle had to move, and they landed in this bog, and then there's this bog witch, and it's going to be the bog witch who is all green, very alphabet coded, and this nerdy younger alchemist healer type is going to be the second book. Yeah. It was charming. It had a little bit of humor. I had a little bit of spice, and it just left you feeling happy at the end. There were issues that people resolved, but it didn't feel heavy-handed. Like it didn't leave you feeling depressed or like too deep, Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would 100% recommend it to anyone who is wanting like a cozy romance. Oh, and also the female main character is in her upper 30s and the main character is in his 40s. So,
reasonably aged people.
Actual adult grown people. What a concept. The fact that they're like brothers and there's going to be a whole series kind of reminds me of the Juliet Cross's Stay a Spell series, but it's not set in a modern time. It's definitely set in like this fairy tale time, like almost like Assistant to the Villain kind of vibes in terms of where it was set. The second book that is coming out in June of this year is called This Witch is Not Wicked.
Okay.
So I read that. But then, of course, I had to have a extra credit. Yeah, because I was like, I also read this book, and it's definitely Grumpy Sunshine, but it's definitely outside of my wheelhouse of like the books I would normally read. So this book is called His Tesoro, Tesoro, and it's by Emilia Rossi. And it is a mafia romance, which is not generally my thing, but honestly, the fact that you have this like billionaire mafia person and they're A, good person, B, a benevolent billionaire, C, like actually about doing good social stuff rather than crime. It's as fantastical as anything we read, to be honest. But it's interesting. This book first came onto my radar because I follow Avery Reads Romance on YouTube, but she's renamed her channel now. It's Avery's Bookish Diary, and she has chronic disabilities, and so she does a lot of like recommends books with main characters with chronic disabilities. So this book is a stereotypical mafia main character, head of his family, whatever, grumpy, broody, etc. And his head of another mafia family is like trying to ally with him, but also kind of stick it to him. And so he's like, yeah, you're going to marry my daughter and then you're going to get access to whatever they wanted, money, whatever. So he's meeting his bride for the first time on their wedding day, and he goes in and she goes down the aisle in a wheelchair. And the female main character is Sophia, and her family is horrible. And the male main character is Matteo. And I think the expectation was all the tropey mafia machismo stuff where like, you know, the wife of the head, whatever, can't possibly be, you know, someone who uses a wheelchair or whatever. But he ends up being smitten with her. She is like, when she gets comfortable with him, she is like the super sunshine. She bakes for him. And so he's like, Mr. Works Out, doesn't eat sugar unless she bakes something, he's going to eat it. And if anybody says anything about her, or of her not being like, you know, worthy or whatever, because of her chronic health condition, like he will protect her no matter what. There's a lot of misunderstandings because she is used to a abusive family, and he just wants to take care of her. And so he's like angry with her at the beginning because he's like, how dare you use that wheelchair? How are you using that wheelchair? And it's basically a wheelchair that her and her sister stole from like a hospital because their family wasn't helping them. And so the wheelchair doesn't fit her. It's too heavy for her. It's too clunky. And so he like gets her a custom wheelchair. It's so freaking sweet.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I haven't read a lot of mafia books, and I don't know that I will, but like this particular story was, I mean, obviously pure and utter fantasy, but it was really sweet. It had a lot of really sweet protectory, like accepting people how they are kind of vibes, and definitely a sunshine, grumpy, brooding kind of pairing that worked out really well to make a really sweet relationship. That's what I got.
So 2 high quality reads, man.
They were so good. I got very lucky. Okay, so next dice roll. Unless anyone has questions about my books.
I feel like you covered that. That was well done.
All right, so next roll is going to be.
Hey, wait, did you switch? Did you flip to like did you go to like a 3-sided dice now?
No,
she's just gonna exempt herself.
Yeah, like if I end up rolling another 4, which is the number I gave myself, I just will roll again. But I rolled a 2.
That's you, best friend.
Oh shit!
Boy.
In my head, I was like, "What comes next? A coin toss." Cool. The book that I chose is "How to Lose a Goblin in 10 Days" by Jesse Silva. And I found this book. We were at Barnes and Noble, just opened up in this town. We're like, okay, let's go spend the afternoon there. And I was walking by books, and like a rando was like, hey, you should read this book. And I was like, you know what? I like a book with circles on the cover, and there's like a hobbit hole door on the cover. And I was like, that's a circle. I'll take that book. And then I got home, I put it on my desk, and then you were like, hey, do this. And I was like, well, let me just Google which books are Grumpy Sunshine on the stack of my that are on my desk. And like this one came up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to read that one. And the synopsis is when a halfling Pansy, and a goblin, Wren, each think they've inherited the same cottage. They make a bargain. They'll live in the house together, and whoever is driven out first forfeits their ownership. Amid forced proximity, cultural misunderstandings, the two begin to fall in love. But when the cottage and their communities is threatened by a common enemy, the duo must learn to trust each other and convince goblins and halflings to band together to oust the tall intruder. Wait a minute, tall intruder. I feel called out now. So Jesse is a Canadian author. I like Canadian authors. I have no idea why. I feel like Canadian authors, they get me. She writes SFF, which I've come to learn is science fiction and fantasy, with an emphasis on queer joy, telling stories of full magic, adventure, and of course, kissing. So I didn't know anything. I went into this. I bought this book purely because somebody was like, "You should buy this book," and there was a circle on the cover. I'm an easy sell.
Sold.
Yeah. And then when I found out that it was Grumpy Sunshine, I was like, I guess I'll read that book. So I did not know that I was getting into kind of cozy queer, sapphic sort of storytelling. And I got kind of confused halfway through. So I feel like I love this book. I thought it was a great book. Like, I think that it's a fantastic story. I do wish that I had going into it that I knew that one of the characters was non-binary. It was just at some point I was like, wait a minute, who's they? And I had to
you missed something important.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if I'm following the story. And so had I been armed with that piece of information from the get-go, the story would have made a little bit more sense for me. So my biggest point here is that one of the characters is non-binary, and it's written in such a way that now you know. And if you elect to read this book, you'll have better context when they say what they're speaking about. So I still would say this is a 5-star book for me.
Ooh, high praise.
Yeah, it's cozy, fun. I don't even know if I want to say that one was grumpy and one was sunshine. I think they both have grumpy and sunshine in them.
They tag teamed?
Yeah, there are times when one takes more than the other, and vice versa. And there are times when the person you might think is the sunshine is actually the grump in there. So, and I don't think, and it wasn't like one wasn't mean. I just think they just kind of maybe it was definitely more along the lines of like the Odd Couple kind of coming together. But I did I wholeheartedly enjoyed it. You know what I thought of when I read this? I kept thinking of Frozen. You ever see like are they trolls in Frozen?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I kept envisioning I don't know if it's like a good thing or a bad thing. Ham-fisted, is that like people just got like big hands?
Uh-huh.
I just felt like the character had like meaty hands for some reason. Just so you know, this has nothing to do with the book. I just envisioned these characters were kind of like these little trolls, and they had like plump hands. And then there is and then the halfling I imagine was like more like elvish almost. Yeah. Anyway, and there were bits of magic and a fun cottage and like social acceptance elements.
Was the cottage magic too?
No. No.
Seems like a missed opportunity.
But there's well, no, there were other things that were magic around. There was plenty of magic to be had. You don't need to live in a magic domicile. But yeah, I thought it was I liked it. I liked it a lot, and I thought it was fun, and I thought it was cozy. And if I were to start over and reread it with the understanding that a character is non-binary and the words, their pronouns that are in use, and not everybody in the story is non-binary. So it's when they're speaking, it's without that preface, I'm just like, what's happening? But anyway, it's I thought it was clever, and it was clever storytelling. It was a fun, cozy world, and it was warming. I don't know what else is. I don't want to give too many details away.
Gave you the warm and fuzzies?
I don't know if it gave me the warm and fuzzies. It didn't give me the hot and heavies. It gave me this. If I had like a bowl of tomato soup and like a grilled cheese sandwich,
it was comforting.
It was like,
okay.
And it was entertaining.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah, so it wasn't just like I'm looking for the next kiss around the page or looking for this evolution of the story. It was entertaining. If this was a movie, I would watch it. And I would watch it like on a day where like I'm trying to watch like You've Got Mail, I would watch this movie kind of thing. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right. So let's see who is next. Number 3. That would be Kelly.
Kelly.
All right. So I read Crier's War by Nina Varela, and it is a sapphic romance that is a grumpy sunshine, enemies to lovers kind of sort of deal. It's an interesting setting because has a lot of like feel of like the steampunk type stuff in it. So in this world, we focus on this one kingdom, but essentially the gist of the main thing in this world is that at some point, some super smart alchemist wizard created automatons, basically. So created artificial beings and created them as servants. And then like any good science fiction story, they eventually rebelled against their creators and became their own self-ruling people. And, essentially think of themselves as the superior race. And so one of the things that keep the Automa going is they use this stuff called heartstone that is like this mineral substance. We're not really told in this book exactly what it is, but it's some kind of thing that's mined, ground down into dust, then usually mixed with water to make sort of almost like a wine thing that the Automa drink to replenish their energy. And so without that, they would, eventually run out of power. So that's kind of one of their weaknesses. And so this story centers around one of the Automa, Crier, who was made by one of the sovereign rulers of one of the big kingdoms, who's an Automa. So he wanted an Automa daughter. He had her created. And so it centers around her. She's led kind of the protected life of sort of leisure, and centers on Ayla, who is a human servant that is basically seeking revenge because her family was murdered by Automa in a raid to suppress human rebellion type stuff. So her whole goal is to, assassinate the sovereign's daughter, Crier. And somehow she manages to get herself in as the servant handmaiden of Crier. So obviously it sets up the perfect revenge scenario for her. But as, the book unfolds, of course, they start to have feelings for each other. And Crier realizes that somehow when she was designed, one of the people that created the Automa changed her and didn't follow the blueprints exactly for how she was supposed to be built, giving her essentially the ability to feel human feelings.
Oh.
Of course, she thinks that because of that, she's flawed. So you can kind of see how this whole thing is going to play out somewhat. Not going to go too much into it, but there's a lot of political intrigue. There's human rebellion movements, and then the Automa, trying to figure out how to put down the human rebellions, and then all that kind of stuff. So there's some political intrigue and stuff like that. As time progresses, Crier kind of realizes by her interactions with Ayla that maybe her dad, the sovereign, is not the most benevolent ruler he's made out to be. She starts to, figure out ways to rebel against her father and all this stuff. And so essentially the plot sort of moves along like this until there becomes, a moment of, final choice where Ayla has to decide between her motive for revenge or how the feelings that she started to develop for Crier and the same for Crier. And we're kind of left off at a cliffhanger that continues with the sequel. But it definitely has a lot of the elements of the Grumpy Sunshine because Crier is a very sheltered, not really like naive, but somewhat naive and positive about the world, whereas Ayla, having watched her family get murdered and all of this stuff, is a much more bitter and hateful person. So you have that Grumpy Sunshine relationship there.
Kelly, how did you find this book?
This book was recommended to me by one of my coworkers.
This sounds amazing. I'm immediately intrigued.
And part of the political intrigue, that's, another one of the plot points that I don't really want to go too much into, is that Crier is supposed to be betrothed to this other Automa who is apparently working on this other substance that can power Automa instead of using the Heartstone, because the Heartstone is only found in this one place, so it's a heavily guarded secret, and the supply trips, are always vulnerable to getting attacked and raided and stuff. So he's trying to create this other, alternative source of power. Obviously, it turns out there's a little more nefarious than that. So there's a lot of different subplots and stuff all going on at the same time.
It sounds amazing.
It does. It looks really good.
I'm invested. I don't know how I can't top that, guys. That's a hard act to follow.
So it has a lot of the vibes I'm currently feeling right now, I guess, in life is, a human who hates the current ruling government and the wealthy people who run the government and wants to kill them all and overthrow them. And, the corrupt political system that's there and all that kind of stuff.
Rebellions are built on hope, Kelly.
I think Che Rivera would say rebellions are built on guns.
Yeah, true.
Goodness.
That sounds really cool.
That was a wild ride just listening to it.
Yeah.
Was it a thick book, like a doozy?
It wasn't too bad. On the Kindle, I can't really tell how thick it was, but it was a fairly easy read.
Print length is 464 pages.
Oh, okay. So
not too bad.
Not tiny, but like...
I mean, it moved along pretty well. I know that some other people who reviewed this book, recommend it. It's not truly a young adult, YA type novel, but it's often recommended to a younger adult age group. And it reads pretty fast.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to my TBR.
Ashley clicks download.
All right, Ashley, no sense rolling. Me? Yeah, you are it.
You don't want to roll the dice? I'm invested in the dice.
I'll get you your own set, baby. So transparently, I played it slightly safe because the moment that Grumpy Sunshine came out of my mouth, because I think it was actually my suggestion, I had two thoughts. And number one was assistant to the villain, who we all know and love. But number two, and I don't think I could rank these in any way, shape, or form, but number two was Juliet Cross's Grim and Barrett, which I had not read in a very, very long time. And so I felt inclined to indulge because, listen, if Juliet Cross has 1 million fans, I am one of them. And if Juliet Cross has 0 fans, I am dead. I think she writes so extremely well. And Grim and Barrett is part of a beloved series. We've read at least one as a group, although I think some of us have read most of the series, for the Stay a Spell book, which is a family-based book. Each book is a sister. The Savoy sisters, they're witches living in a supernatural community alongside humans. So this is modern times. And in each book, basically, everybody finds a partner, right? 'Cause we're here for the romance. Grim and Barrett is about Clara Savoy, who is the personification of sunshine, like literally the sunshine. She's the blonde hair, the blue eyes. She is an aura. That is her magical power, her witchy power, which basically means she can sense the emotions of others around her. She can see it in their aura, but she can also impress upon them, right? So if somebody's stressed out or in grief or in mourning, she can, I think she calls it like her happy power or something like that. Like she can push a little bit of happiness into them just to kind of calm them down or cheer them up. And what was interesting in the book as well is we found that when Clara herself is experiencing extreme emotions, she can actually impact the weather. I think for me, this book was all about the relationship because Clara went in knowing who her partner was, right? Henry Blackwater, who again is the personification of Grumpy because he's a literal Grim. Like that's who he is. I mean, he's not the first Grim that we meet in the series, but he is the most damaged, right? So he's grumpy, not because he's an asshole or because, you know, he's just mean. He's grumpy because he's traumatized, right? He had an instance when he was a kid. It traumatized him. He's afraid of his powers. He's one of the most powerful of the line, right? And so he doesn't want to hurt anybody, basically. So he's isolated himself, but he's also the most caring, right? His cousin is part of the picture. He's taken on his little brother and he's, you know, growing him up in a safer household. And so for me, I think what Juliet Cross does so well in this entire series is combine the family, right? Existing family as well as found family. And then how the found family finds family within the family, if that makes sense. So like there's a point where Grumpy Henry is now becoming part of the guys group and there's like a game night and they're playing some kind of version of Game of Thrones. And they're just ripping on each other, right? They're gossiping like little girls. And it's the power of found family to me. Just listening, you know, like reading them just go back and forth. So it's a story of how they, you know, work together to overcome, you know, his trauma. There's, you know, a big situation that she has to help him through. They get through it together. And then, you know, this is the ending of the series. And we get some wrap up in the rest of the story. And it couldn't have been any better. You laugh, you know, you feel. Henry has to go through, you know, this really tough situation with his dad, and he doesn't want to believe him because dad's part of the trauma. And she has to tell him, like, hey, you know, he's telling the truth. He's not lying about this. And they lean on each other, right? I think when you're in a dark place for a really long time, it's hard to accept the sunshine. And watching them get through it together was so heartwarming. And I loved everything about this series.
They complement each other so
they
well.
really do.
Yeah.
And again, they're opposite ends of the spectrum for all intents and purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he literally walks with the dead and she literally does everything, you know, within her power naturally to make all of the humans feel better. It was really nice to see a strong female character not be the damsel in distress per se, right? You know, she was very sure that this was the person for her. She went up to him and she said, she brought him cupcakes, right? She's like, you're going to ask me out on a date. And he's like, I am. And she's like, yes, you are. And she was just so sure, you know, throughout the whole process that he was the one for her. And he just needed to have a little bit of faith, right? And open himself up to accepting that love. And so it's real good stuff. You laugh. There's some sexy stuff. This is definitely a spicy book. And it wraps it up just as nice and tidy as it could for a 6 or 7 book series, to which she continues with the next generation of, you know, the Savoy sisters and their families.
Southern Charm, I think, is the name of the next series, like the next generation.
I haven't read it, but I think Jonathan has.
I have as well. I thought
you
it
have?
was good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Rebel Without Claws.
Yeah, that's correct.
Claws.
Yeah. And
Rebel
then the series
Claws.
is called Southern Charm, is what that part of the series. I love all of that entire, all of it.
Yeah, it's so well written. Like nothing's cringy about it. It flows really nicely. And, you know, you get these complementary pairings, you know, to your point where, again, these are very opposite beings, right? That just seamlessly fit very well together. And I really liked, she touches on discrimination of the different supernaturals and, the secrecy of some of the supernaturals. And so I think it dabbles in, some real world situations without, it's race related, but not necessarily race related. And so,
Not
it's not heavy, right?
Yeah.
But, she doesn't ignore it either, which I think is really, really important, to make sure that we're paying attention to in this day and age.
And it really ties up the series because the first book started with that kind of antagonistic relationship between the witches and the werewolves. That was like the main, stumbling blocks or traumas or whatever of the first book, which we did an episode on. So you guys can go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Like, definitely Juliet Cross Stay a Spell series is unmatched. I don't know that I've ever read a series this long and be this good each time. Like, there's not a disappointing book.
Agreed. All right, so I'm assuming that everyone would say that their books are kissing books?
Yes, mine is definitely a kissing book.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't know if mine's a kissing book.
Were you not ready for this question?
Yeah, I didn't think about it.
Yeah, the answer is no.
I focus on Grumpy Sunshine. Let's see, kissing book.
You forgot you had homework.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if it's a kissing book, but I think it's a snuggly book.
It's a cuddling book.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan, have you read Legends and Lattes?
I have not.
Okay.
Although I did, so like, I'm on this like oddly, like it just feels like everything that I pick up that I'm interested in, like the cover of is sapphic recently. Is Legends and because I think something popped up on my feed. Like it must just be my algorithm is set to that. So like, it popped up and I definitely look at the cover of that book all the time. And I'm like, that's the kind of green person that is interesting.
It's very cozy. It's very like cozy fantasy. It is sapphic, but it's also like almost like the spell shop kind of vibes in terms of like makes you want coffee and cinnamon rolls. It's very cozy. You read that one, right, Kelly?
Yeah.
Would you say definitely like related to spell shop in terms of like the coziness, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a cozy book.
So if you're
low stakes.
Yes. Was it a tale of low stakes and high fantasy and low stakes, I think was the tagline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're going down that vibe, Jonathan, I would definitely recommend that one. It's sapphic, it's cozy, it's got fantasy elements.
Nice.
So I think it's got a lot of things that you would enjoy. It's not a fast moving story because I think Ash, you read it and the plot wasn't like super fast.
No, I actually don't think I finished it.
Yeah.
And it could have just been my headspace at the time. It wasn't bad, but it felt sluggish to me. And I know you guys rave about this book. I want to love it. It's something I should try again.
That's why I haven't read it, I think, is because Ashley, every time I'm like, do you think I should read? I'm attracted to this book. And Ashley's like, meh.
To be fair, you asked me my experience with.
All right. Anything anybody wants to say before we wrap it up?
This was fun.
Yeah. It was good kind of branching out and doing show and tell with our books.
Show and tell with our books. That is an accurate.
Yeah. So we'll definitely do this more. Pick different topics and just kind of choose your own thing.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to Of Swords and Soulmates. Before we go, make sure to check our show notes, rate, review, and subscribe to us on your podcast app of choice. It helps others to find us and let us know what you're enjoying. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or Goodreads at Of Swords and Soulmates. Check us out on our website, ofswordsandsoulmates.com. If you'd like to offer suggestions for a future episode, book, or topic, feel free to reach out to us on the DMs of any of those options. If you want to read along with us as we prep for a new episode and get chapter-by-chapter interaction, join our Fable app book club by searching for the Of Swords and Soulmates book club on there. And last but not least, we hope you'll join us in 2 weeks for our next episode when we will be celebrating AAPI month by reading The Hurricane Wars by Thea Wanzong. Bye.
Bye, guys.